But with these test strips, you can kind of help the service guys get your pool jump started.
Okay.
And one of the things that we're going to talk about is your main focus is going to be your pH level. That's one of the reasons why you're testing every other day.
Okay.
And you would just do that for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
But because what happens a lot of times is on a brand new pool, landscaping and everything's going on around it, stuff's getting, the wind's blowing stuff into your water. It takes a lot to get everything in check.
Okay.
Also, when they put that finish on there's a lot of plaster dust left over that causes your pH to be through the roof.
Yeah.
Your pool itself is going to have a high pH content because of what your pebble finish is made out of.
Okay.
It's aggregated mineral. All right.
Okay.
So your water is going to constantly be alkaline. You use acid to bring that down.
Okay.
Okay. But you just take your test strip, and we'll just pretend this is our pool. We just take it about wrist deep.
Okay.
About 5-10 seconds, and then when you remove this, try and keep it flat.
Okay.
Because if you hold it upright,
It's
water's
gonna
going to run. Okay. Then give it like 2 to 3 seconds to adjust to the air, and you'll see these change colors.
Okay.
And we just take our test strip and line it up with the kit.
Okay.
All right. Set this down. And our first one that we're going to go over is our total hardness.
Okay.
That is your calcium level.
Okay.
So everybody's calcium starts around 0 to 100 parts per million on a brand new pool. We use calcium chloride to increase this. So all the things that we're talking about, our service is going to do.
Okay.
The calcium chloride, a lot of times it comes in a flake, granular, or powder form, but it helps to boost your calcium level. That way your water is not constantly trying to pull calcium from your pool wall and eat your pool, essentially.
Oh.
Okay.
Good to know. Okay.
But that's something that gets slowly added into the pool, but we want you to float around 250 to 300 parts per million.
Okay.
And water's still gonna draw calcium from everywhere. It's just gonna slow that process down.
Okay.
Because once calcium's in your water, it's there to stay. And it's coming from different areas, from grout, tile, pebble finish, rainwater, some people's well, like if they have well water, it's adding that in there. But it's getting it from multiple sources. Okay. But really what you're doing with this is we're just trying to keep it below 500 parts per million. And if you get to a point where it is that high, you use fresh water to dilute it.
Oh.
So a lot of times you would actually take a little bit of water out of your pool and
Okay.
put fresh water back in.
Okay.
All right. When we test your water and we see that's getting high, we'll let you know. Be like, hey, I'm going to take some water out
Okay.
and then put it back in.
There's nothing you can do to change that, the
It's-
balance of that.
yeah.
It's just fresh water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the way to increase it is calcium chloride.
Okay.
All right. When you add that in, you'll see it like when they put it in the pool. It comes in a bag most of the time, and they only add like 2 to 3 pounds in at a time. And
Are you more often adding the calcium chloride or adding fresh water?
So it kind of evens out to where you might go 3 months and you don't need either one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just once you start using that pool a lot, your calcium might actually drop because you're adding more fresh water that dilutes that calcium level.
And in the summer, probably with the evaporation and
Yeah.
everything. Okay.
Where as we get into the colder months or like into a rain season, rainwater is adding calcium in, you're not swimming as much, you're not adding as much fresh water, you see that calcium level go up, so you're better off taking a little bit of water out, putting fresh water back in.
Okay.
All right. Anytime I talk about draining water, a foot at a time,
Okay.
like never the entire thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got it.
All right. That'd be a
And when you say a foot, you mean a foot from the ledge?
yeah, from like where your normal water level would be down.
Okay.
Yeah, so normally you try to keep your water about 2 inches on the tile line, so from that 2 inches down.
Okay. Did you go over how to drain with Jeff? Or is it?
It's in here, it's also in there, but
Okay.
like our service guys will let you know, be like,
Okay.
hey, you
Okay.
need to drain it, they'll show you how to do
Okay. All right. Cool.
it. Yeah. Really, to the filter,
Yeah.
so if you want to drain the pool, leave the pump on, open that ball valve on the bottom of the filter, that drains water out of the pool.
Oh, okay. All right.
Pretty much it. Where? You can drain it to the road or, wherever.
And it goes through the pump. Or I'll just have you get a garden hose and suck it, and then we'll do it that way.
Siphon it out.
Yeah.
Be sitting there for, that'd take a while.
Yeah.
All right. So off of total hardness, we have total chlorine and free chlorine.
Okay.
So free chlorine is going to be that flow regulator with chlorine tablets.
Okay.
Our range on that is going to be around 1 on the scale.
Okay.
Really, 0.5 to 1 on your free chlorine level is where you want it to settle, and that's because you have that mineral cartridge.
Okay.
Where if you're going to put 20 plus people in the pool, I'd be more 1 to 3.
Okay.
If you don't have a cartridge, same thing, 1 to 3.
Okay.
All right, because that cartridge just helps you keep that chlorine at a lower rate.
Okay.
All right, where your total chlorine, what this is it's free chlorine that's already been used up, and it's just a chlorine residue that stays in your water. That just builds up and builds up as you dissolve chlorine into your pool.
Okay.
If that stays in there long enough, it'll combine with fresh bacteria and form chloramines. That's what produces the odor and the feel of chlorine in the pool. What you use to get rid of that is called pool shock. It comes in a powdered form most of the time. You add that to the deep end of the pool. Best time to add it in is at night or when nobody's going to swim for a while.
Okay.
And what it does is it takes your free chlorine level and it bumps it up to a 10 or a 20 on the scale, and it just eats away at all the bacteria and used up chlorine.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have a conditioner in it. After 6 hours, it's out of the pool.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're not gonna worry about this for the first month.
Free chlorine
Total chlorine.
or total chlorine? I'm sorry. And did you say total chlorine should be what? I'm sorry, you said that.
So around 1 to 0.
1 to 0.
Yeah,
Okay.
We want it to stay low.
Okay.
All right. Because this is one that can sneak up on you really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, like within a month, it could be way too high.
Okay.
Okay. But in the summer months, you're gonna see the pool guys. They'll shock at least once a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
just because you're swimming in the pool a lot more, you're burning through a lot more free chlorine, so your total chlorine is going to shoot through the roof. They shock it to keep all that down.
Okay. All right.
Where this one, if you can smell your pool before you get into it, then you need to shock it.
Okay. And when they shock it, typically what, 6 hours?
Yeah, and
Okay.
they let you know, hey, we put some shock in there, you probably don't want to swim in it for a while.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so our next one is a big one, it's pH.
Okay.
So this one generally starts very high.
Okay.
So the acid that you saw me put into the deep end of the pool, that's something that you constantly add to your water to keep your pH in check.
Okay.
We want it to float around 7.2 to 7.8 on the scale, and that's going to be your most comfortable swim. Your water's going to look the best, it's going to feel the best. Your chlorine's going to work very smoothly. Where if your pH is very high, then that's where your water gets cloudy. That's where you can feel it on your skin when you swim. That's where you get eye irritation, all that fun stuff. Okay? Just like shock, whenever you add acid to the pool, keep it in the deep end.
Okay.
Try and preferably right in front of a return line and just pour it into the return and it'll push it into the pool for you.
Okay.
All right? But this one is one that I would test every other day, and I would add small amounts of acid in to help treat that pH level.
Okay.
All right?
And we don't have acid though, right?
Yeah, so like Home Depot or Lowe's, you can go to the paint section. You
Okay.
can buy it by the gallon.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then how would you, so I'd love to just test it today.
Yeah,
So let's
we're
say
going
it's,
to.
okay, so let's say it's right now 8.4. How much acid do I know how to put in?
All right, so we're going to do this. So page 15 is where our basic chemistry starts.
Okay.
So pH is our first one on the chart, and it's going to be the first one that it goes over to help you treat. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to lower your pH and you're going to use acid to do so.
Okay.
So we go to our chart to lower, and let's say we tested today at over 8.4. Do you happen to know your gallon size off the top of your head? No. What's your depth in the pool?
7 feet.
Do you know the length and the width?
No, but I have it by handy.
So in your contract, it should give you a rough estimate.
Yeah.
But just as an example, we'll say,
Oh, because it's gallons of pool. Okay.
yeah, we'll just say 20,000 gallons.
Okay.
Okay. So if we read over 8.4 and we're adjusting for 20,000 gallons, it'd be 2 quarts or half a gallon of acid that you would use.
Okay.
All right.
And what is it, like pool acid or is
No,
it?
so like, it's mostly used for pools or cleaning decks.
Okay.
All right. But we're like, if you go to Lowe's in the garden section, there's
Yeah.
actually a pool section in there that you can get chemicals from.
Oh, okay.
There's a powder that's called pH down. It's just powdered acid is all it is.
Okay. pH
But-
down.
Muriatic acid is a liquid form, and it actually filters through the pool a lot smoother.
Does Lowe's have that? Okay.
Go paint section.
Paint section. Okay. Muriatic acid. Okay.
It's used for like deck etching, which
Okay.
same thing. That's what you're doing here. Is you're just
Okay.
etching the surface pretty much.
Okay. And you do that in the deep end. Okay.
But when you put that in, put it in at night, let it filter by itself. Or if you're going to do a pool party during the day, you happen to test your water and your pH is high, adjust it in the morning, give it 6 hours, you're good.
Okay. And then 2 quarts, just like center, deep end.
So, so if you see where on the edge of the pool closer to us,
Yeah.
where that water's kind of bubbling out,
Yep, yep.
that's a return line.
Okay.
So that's where you would pour that acid directly into that, and it pushes it into the pool for you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The one that's kind of we can go
To the
on there.
right corner of the pool.
Okay.
You
Okay.
see where it's like
Yeah,
really
bubbling.
rippling up
Yeah.
right there? That's
Okay.
water going back to the pool.
Okay.
Yep.
Return line. Okay.
That helps.
All right. That
All
does
right.
help. That does help. Okay. Return line. Got it.
But we would just go to our chart after you did your test, and
Okay.
it just helps you treat your water.
Okay.
Okay. So our next one is actually on here too. It's our total alkalinity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our next one here. So right here it's telling us 80 to 20, but I'd float around 100 to 150, which
Okay.
is actually what's on our chart is 100 to
Okay.
150.
Okay.
But what this does is it's a buffer for your pH level. But where pH is constantly going up, total alkalinity is constantly going down. We use sodium bicarbonate, which is just a baking soda, to boost this back up.
Okay.
So same thing. We would go to our charts for our total alkalinity. If we want to increase, we're going to use sodium bicarbonate. So same thing. Let's say we tested today and we're reading 80 parts per million. Well, we want to increase by 40 parts per million to get us to 120. And we'll just use 20,000 gallons. It'll be 11 pounds. Well, your goals whenever you're doing your tests is to be adjusting by the small number.
Okay. Only
Right.
10 at a time.
Well, no. So like, you want to like when you test weekly, you want to float around like 110 to 120 on a weekly basis.
Okay.
That way you're only having to increase by 10 or 20.
Oh,
parts per
okay.
million,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Because if you go down to 70, you don't
Then-
want to have to add 50.
Mhm.
Okay. Makes sense.
This doesn't affect your swim, but it will make your pool kind of cloudy looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm assuming you don't use the little boxes of.
No. Yeah, don't go to Walmart.
Don't go to Harris Teeter.
No.
I'm going to bake.
This stuff you can buy it in a 50-pound bag and like a
Lowe's.
25-pound bucket. Yeah, so if you go to Lowe's, it'll be called Alkalinity Plus.
Alkalinity Plus.
Comes in like a 25-pound bucket.
Okay.
But what I would suggest doing is if you decide to take care of the pool yourself, get the bucket and then find the bag online, the 50-pound bag. That way you can carry the bucket to the pool, get your scoops out, throw it in, and then refill it with the 50 pounds.
Got it. Okay.
But
And for the pH reducer, and I have it videotaped here, and the sodium bicarbonate. But being that they're coming next Thursday, we potentially could be adding that this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it wouldn't hurt to add acid in at this point.
Okay.
That'd be the main thing that you mess with is acid.
Is acid. Okay.
Because this time of the year, your chlorine demand is very low.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
All right, so our last one is going to be called stabilizer.
Okay.
This is a buffer or a conditioner for a chlorine. What this does is it puts a UV protection on your water. It just makes it where when that sunlight's hitting your pool, it doesn't burn your chlorine out.
Okay.
All right. When you're using chlorine tablets, this chemical is in that tablet. It's very similar to calcium though. And once it's in that water, it's there to stay.
Okay.
And it's just going to build up and build up and build up.
Okay.
If it gets too high, it's fresh water.
Okay.
This one is one that a lot of people have issues with because they forget about it because you don't do very much with it.
Okay.
I would keep this around 30 to 50 parts per million.
Okay.
Keep it below 100 parts per million.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And same thing. If you start to see it creeping up here, take about a foot of water out, put fresh water in, and just kind of keep rotating through that until you see that number start to drop.
Okay.
Because what happens if it gets to 100 or higher, it over conditions your chlorine. You can't sanitize your pool.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So
All right.
you can be in the middle of the summer and your free chlorine is reading like a 3 to a 5, which is a lot of chlorine in the pool. It'll still turn green.
Okay.
All right.
All right.